Okay, we're going to look at a way to do some of the Scheffé and Tukey tests by using a little bit of technology. And to do this, we are going to use a couple things on our Google Classroom. So I've opened up the 14.2 Scheffé and Tukey test, and you see I have two spreadsheets here, one labeled Scheffé and one labeled Tukey. There's not really a good calculator function to do these tests, so I've kind of made these spreadsheets up that you can use. And then here you can see here's our Tukey critical value table that we'll talk about. And here's our assignment and our notes. So if you look at the Scheffé sheet, you can open this up, and what you'll see is you'll see a column here. And what I've done is I've put my three different groups for the Scheffé we did. And then what you have to do is you have to put in a couple of things. You have to put in the means. So I had to put the means in for each group. And then I put the sample size in for each group. So I'll just kind of highlight in green what you'd have to input. So you have to put in all this. This is actually optional. I just think it's helpful so you kind of know what is what. And then you have to put in the within group variance and your ANOVA critical value. Now these can both be found from your ANOVA printout. And then your number of means compared. You don't really have to do the Scheffé critical value. It will calculate it for you. You see if I change this to 4, it'll update the critical value. But I have 3. So there is the 7.62, and if you recall, that's the value that we had when we did it by hand. So now you look up here, and what these things here, there are a bunch of things. Anything that says number sign, pound sign, value, those are means we're not comparing. But it says here, mean 1 versus mean 2, which is LA versus Jennifer. And what it does is it gives you a number, and this is your test stat. And how I have it set is if it turns green, that means it's bigger than this critical value, so you reject. So we know that the LA versus Jennifer comparison will reject. So if it's red like this one, you can see that this was mean 1 versus mean 3, so LA versus Ian. F Scheffé stat of 0.35, so we fail to reject. So a really nice spreadsheet. You can have a copy of this so you can change it over and over and over again. Just never mess with anything on this side. Just change the things over here. And if you have less means, you can just exit out at some point, and that will make the computer ignore it. Or if you have more, you can obviously add them down here when you're doing your own projects. Now for the Tukey, now first I wanted to show you, here is that critical value chart I referenced earlier. Number of treatments, number of groups, and here's your error term. And this chart's a little limited. It only does alpha of 0.05, which is the top line, and 0.01, which is the bottom line. So you could just pick it out and match it up. So when we did our example, we had 3 groups and an error term of 15. 0.05, here is our 3.67. So on my Tukey sheet, same kind of idea. You have the means here. So the first 3 means we had were water, charms, and seaweed. And so all I have to do is I have to put the means in. So let me go ahead and highlight in green what you have to insert here as well. So you have to put in what your means are, and if there are more, that's fine too. You have to put your within group variance, and again, we showed you where you could get that from your ANOVA printout. You have to put in your critical value. So this is a little different. You actually have to go to your chart and you have to manually find the critical value because it's not based on anything we know before. So mine was 3.67, and if you put that in, if you put 3.67 in for that one, then this one is the negative critical value. Just put in negative 3.67 is how the program works. And now again, up here, I have this one a little different. So if you can see all our Tukey values, negative 3.73, 4.56, 0.822. And in this case, it turns blue if you reject, and if you fail to reject, it just stays white. So the blue ones are our reject, and the ones that don't change color are the white ones. So that is kind of a neat way to do it. These sheets are pretty valuable, especially when you're doing lots and lots of means and it's a lot of computation. So you can get these values, and then you can put them in your chart and compare them in your conclusion. So that's how the technology works for this. Obviously, if you have any questions or you have need some help on this, please let me know.